Hey everyone, it's the Angry Honey Badger, and it is time to take a look at another build video. We are taking a look at Vi today, playing her in the jungle. I've played her in top lane, I've played her in the jungle, and I'm going to be honest, I think she's best suited for the jungle. Tried her out top a lot. She does okay against some champions up there, and she can do a good job. But there's a few champions that I feel kind of counter her pretty hard, and she feels a little weak in top lane sometimes. So I tried her in the jungle multiple times and was given that a shot, and I like her jungling and her ganking a lot more. So that's what I'm going to be doing with her in this build video, since I think she suits the jungle best. I'm going to be in here and starting with a Hunter's Machete and, of course, pots. It's going to be building towards my first items. Here I'm going to come out for a gank because that's what I try to do after I get red buff. Unfortunately, we're going to lose Tark and Ezreal in this fight. I will be able to pick up one kill, though. They got a heal that went off, which was unfortunate, and I'm going to have to hit her one more time, and then I'm going to have to retreat. So, luckily, the other two did pick up an assist, so that's okay, but it was unfortunate that both of them died. So, not really a super successful gank, but they needed some pressure released from bottom. They were getting pushed a little bit and getting poked at. So, that's going to happen early on for the most part. At level 1, what I like to do is take my denting blows when I am jungling, because every third attack, you're going to deal a percentage damage to the minions or monsters that you are attacking. Also does stack on, don't forget, champions, so you do percentage damage with your W, your denting blows, and then you also do reduce the armor by 20% of the target, and you get increased attack speed after that too. So denting blows is very, very powerful, and that's what I typically max out first. I usually jump between that and my excessive force, which is my E ability, which I take at level 2 when I'm jungling. Excessive force is going to deal some extra damage to any of the minions behind it. And just any of the enemies behind it, you're going to deal some physical damage, and it stacks off of physical and your AP ratios as well. So you'll get to see me doing that and that going off. I'm going to head towards top lane right now and try to get in here. She's not warded. I'm going to use my Q ability, my Volt Breaker, to jump in there, hit her once, which will stack once with my denting blows, and then we're going to negate her armor. I'm going to use my ultimate now to hit her up like that and pick up an assist, help out Shen a little bit top lane. If you do not know, her Q ability, which is her Vault Breaker, that's what I use to start that fight. It slows you by 15%, and it charges and lets the distance work its way up, and then you can charge in with it. It deals physical damage, and then it will stack one denting blow, so that's good when you start a fight. Unfortunately, it slows you. Here, I take my Ghost and Ghost in because Akali's about to get away. Luckily, having Ghost up and then using my Vault Breaker, I'm not going to really lose any of my speed, because I take Ghost, and that's why I take Ghost. It is very good for chasing, and I'm able to get in there and end her off to get that kill. And it kind of negates the whole part where you're going to lose 15% move speed. So luckily, that's one reason why I do take Ghost when I'm playing as Vi, but just because Ghost is really good for anybody jungling. It makes your ganks a lot more successful, or you have the potential for them to be a lot more successful. Now, as for my ultimate, which is Assault and Battery, as you saw me use it in top lane, what that does is you chase down your targets, it locks onto them, it knocks them up for 1.25 seconds, and then it does a lot of damage to them as well. Here I'm going to come in with my Vault Breaker and hit the, what's-her-face, the Vayne. We're going to get a little bit of a fight here. Unfortunately, I think, yeah, Tarek is very squishy early there. I use my Assault and Battery to knock up one of them, and it knocks the other one back. We do pick up the kill on Vayne. We're going to hang out down here for a second because he's pretty low and we got plenty of health to do a tower dive. So we're going to go ahead and try to do one of those real quick after we get this lane pushing. Luckily, me and Hoyt play together all the time, so we can coordinate this pretty well. I'm going to come in here with Vault Breaker, hit him. His ult's going to land, and I have red buff, so he's going to be killed by that. And I did get off a excessive force, which is going to hit for a good amount of distance behind once you hit an enemy or a minion. I have picked up kills before when they are retreating and you're not going to be able to get to them, but there's a minion and you use your excessive force on the minion, but since it does send out more damage behind it, you can pick up a kill that way. And I have done that before, so don't forget that you can do that to pick up some extra kills. Going over items now, since we're back at base for the second time, I do start with Ogre's Lantern because that's going to be what you need to jungle successfully. You're going to get that lifesteal, which is good, a little bit of armor and some physical damage. And then I do go with Merc Treads pretty early on because I want the magic resist and I want the tenacity, and boots too is just good to have. And then I am picking up right now, as you can see, I do have some health, which I will be building into a couple items early on. And yeah, we got that going on. I'm going to be heading top lane right now and try to get a little bit of a gank off. I don't think she has us warded. I'm going to move in here and you know, do some damage to her. Shen's coming now. She's going to chase a little bit. She is going to get taunted along with Shen, so it's a little 2v2. Same champions, so see who can get this off. Luckily, I'm slightly ahead of her, I would say. I'm going to pick up a kill on her. We're going to let Shen retreat, so good little kill there, nothing too crazy. I'm going to try to move in here and try to help out if I can. Unfortunately, their Zed keeps coming up from bottom and camping out in that lane a little bit, so that's unfortunate, but that will happen, as we do know. And so like I was saying, with her ultimate Assault and Battery, if you do knock back enemy champions that are around, like I said, when it does knock them back, it will deal 75% damage to them. So it's good to use when you want to focus one target in a big group and kind of separate the team out a little bit. That's what it's helpful for. I'll use it later and miss my target, but hit somebody else, unfortunately, and we'll get to see how it works. So I'm going to move up here now. We got Akali in here trying to murder our cast. I'm going to move in here, hit her with my Vault Breaker, use my ultimate, and then, you know, just help murder the Akali real quick. She's really good at ganking. That works really, really well in ganking situations. So try her out in the jungle if you have not tried her out here. She works really, really good. So she's great for closing in on people. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to get in there to pick up a kill right away. Hoyt's going to get killed there. Luckily, I do lots of damage for the most part. I'm going to get into a little bit of a fight here and try to pick up some kills, but this is a pro Shen ult in for us. I'm going to be able to get that. Unfortunately, I think... yeah, he did turn around, which was a mistake. I probably would not have been able to get to him. And then I think, yep, Vayne's just barely going to escape. So, Zed would have gotten away if he wouldn't have turned, but no, he turned. So I got a kill, and I shut him down. Lots of gold, which is very, very helpful. So I took that health that I was building and built a phage with that, and I am picking up a little bit of attack speed now because I'm going to be building towards a Trinity Force. Now at this point, if you don't want a Trinity Force, you can take that phage and build it into a Frozen Mallet if you want to build her more tanky, which I do like her as that role if you are the only tanky person on your team. I think she actually does a very good job of kind of being an off-setting tanky bruiser, but pretty tanky. So if you want to go with a more tanky build, that will work alright. I'm going to move in here and hit the Akali, do some decent damage to her and end her off real quick. And going to knock the Shen up, try to see if we can get to him. Unfortunately, he's going to slide to that wall and he's going to get away. But pretty quick kill there on Akali, so you do a lot of damage pretty quick with all your stuff. And you can separate out an enemy and kind of prevent them from escaping pretty quick when you come in with your Vault Breaker and then use your Assault and Battery to knock them up. So something to remember when you are playing as her. Kind of combo your stuff together a little bit. And don't forget to use your Excessive Force Switch. You can stack 2 of those at a time, and then you can activate those on your standard attacks. So just little things to remember. With that, what was I doing? With that dagger, I built that into my Zeal. Like I said, I'm building towards that Trinity Force, which is going to be a great, great item early on in the game. A little expensive, but, you know, it's going to give me plenty of things all over the place. The Sheen's going to help me proc that extra damage. Then that phage is going to give me a little bit of health, a little bit of attack damage, and be able to slow them occasionally. And that Zeal is going to help with my attack speed, which is going to help me get my denting blows off faster and help me just attack them and do more damage to them every 3rd attack. So a little bit of attack speed on her is not a bad thing at all. I usually build some earlier too, a little bit more. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to do that because I start to build a tiny bit situational, but still an item I need. I just kind of skip over the one I typically would get in the order, and we'll go over that when we get to it. But as for my Rune Page, I go with attack speed marks, armor seals, magic resist per level glyphs, and movement speed quintessences. Now here we're going to get into a fight, and we do not focus right, and we kind of back off in a weird position. Now here, I meant to actually get to Vayne, but I hit up Shen and we focused him, which was a mistake. And I'm trying to work my way. Unfortunately, Cass is down here doing who knows what right now, and she's going to move back in here now, but we kind of didn't coordinate that well, and we're going to get aced because of it. So, unfortunately, a little bit of bad focusing on my part. I hit the wrong champion, which will happen, and yeah, we didn't focus well there at all, and now we are going to get aced, and yeah, we just need to stick together better. So, there's an example of not playing a team fight correct. So we get aced, unfortunately, but like I said, that will happen a little bit. I'm going to keep building towards that Trinity Force. Almost done with it at this point, but just going to keep going out and farming up. I think there's a little bit of dead space here, not too much happens. I think we get into another bad team fight, but that will happen. We're going to try to take this dragon real quick, because I'm going to deal plenty of damage to it with my denting blows, and just all of that for the most part. As you can see, though, I do max out my denting blows, my excessive force, pretty evenly sometimes, just because I like having some of the damage in both of them. And I usually max out my Vault Breaker last. And I know a lot of people have actually had problems with Vault Breaker since it does slow you. It feels kind of useless when you want to use it. you got to time it right. And another reason, actually, why you don't need flash with her is because you can actually use it to escape quite easily, since it's kind of a built-in slow flash. So that's just something to kind of remember if you want to do that way. So yeah, you'll see me using it to get through walls and other things just occasionally. So yeah, Vault Breaker is good for escaping as well, so don't forget that it does that. As for my masteries page, now whether you're going in the jungle or if you're going top lane, if you're going to go top lane and you want to build her as a tanky bruiser, I would suggest a 14-16-0 or a 14-15-1 depending on your skills, or your spells, I mean. So that's kind of like what I like to do when I go top. I build her more of a tanky bruiser. I usually go with the frozen mallet up there, but this build goes with a little bit more damage with that Trinity Force. Here's another weird little fight where I got focused pretty hard. We're going to get a few kills in here, and I'm going to get an assist. So that's what I do with masteries in top lane. Now, as for my jungle masteries, I do take my AD jungling page, which is a 12, 9, and 9 page. It's going to give me a little bit in the offense, a little bit in the defense to resist the minions and pick up a little bit of defense, which will help out. And then 9 in the utility, which is going to help me in a few areas with increased buff durations and a few other things as well. So yes, those are my masteries, and as most of you know, all of my masteries can be found on my Facebook page. I have pictures of all of them, so you can head over there. There's a link in the description to that in case you are going to be looking for that. As for that last trip back, I did pick up that Trinity Force, which is nice to have that done. Have a little bit of attack damage, have some increased move speed, have some increased attack speed, have some AP, which is going to help on my excessive force, and that Sheen proc, so lots of good stuff coming from that item. Don't forget, though, with your lantern, you do have that placeable ward. I do place it occasionally down and around whenever I feel like we need it. Luckily, we have some pretty good warding happening on the map right now because our Tark is playing support. And, yeah, we have all that going on for the most part. Pretty boring part of that game. This is that weird in-between part of the game where nobody's really getting into fights because you're kind of even and you don't want to get accidentally aced. So that's what's happening right now. I think they're heading over to Dragon, and I think they're going to pick that up. If they haven't already, I believe it's gone. And, yeah. So, what else do we want to talk about with Vi? All types of stuff. Like I said, though, if you want to build her as a tank, or really tanky, she still does plenty of damage because of her denting blows, dealing percentage damage. The one nice thing about percentage damage is you're guaranteed to deal decent damage. So, you can make that go up, too, by building even more attack damage on her, but you don't really need to, because I believe at level 5, your denting blows will automatically deal at least 10% of the target enemy's maximum health, and 10% is quite a bit, so that is something to consider. And it's a really good ability, and like as you can see, it's always activated. You don't have to do anything with that. So her kit's pretty simple, so I don't think she's going to be very hard to learn. It'll just come down to how you're fighting with her. I will say one thing, when you are getting in a 1v1, at first it may feel like you're falling behind because her attack speed's a little shorter, or a little low, not so fast. But once you get off that third denting blow, you deal a lot of that percentage damage right away. Their armor is reduced by that 20%, and then your attack speed is increased. So after a little fight, if you feel like you're behind, keep the attacks going until denting blows go off. Now here at this point, we can see that they're a little separated, so I'm going to try to get in here and initiate a fight since their team's separated. We can get in here and deal some damage. We're going to get in here and try to get rid of Zed, because he is really strong right now. He got fed pretty early. I took a lot of damage, so I'm going to kind of back up a little bit and try to avoid the enemy Vi, who was top lane in this game. She's kind of going with more of that tanky build. She does okay with it, but I think her job this game, she mostly focused me every time she got to a fight. Here I'm going to come back in and help the team out. As we can see, we're getting into a fight. I'm going to come in here with my Vault Breaker, kind of knock back that Akali for a second, get in here and pick up a quick kill, and we're going to ace them and be able to push quite a bit, which is going to be nice. So I'm actually going to go to top lane real quick and go take out this top turret. It's got like 7 health, so I'm just going to actually use my Vault Breaker and then just get in there and just punch that once. And yeah, so that's what's going on. We're going to push mid a little bit. The rest of the team, we're going to get into their base, which is going to be nice, and I'm going to have plenty of gold. The last time I was back at base, as you can see, I did pick up 2 longswords, which are going to be building towards a brutalizer. I'm going to be picking up the black cleaver once I'm back at base, giving me a little bit more health and giving me plenty of damage, which is going to be very nice. As we know, black cleaver is a pretty good item now for a lot of bruisers. And then at this point, I would typically be building towards a wit's end. But since I am taking a lot of physical damage from their team with the Zed and with the Vayne and their Vi, I'm going to be building armor. I'm actually going to start building towards a Guardian Angel right now. So it's going to give me armor and magic resist and I'd finish that off, and then I'd typically probably go for a Wit's End, which would be then my 6th item, and then later on in the game, as I would get more gold, my items would be full, I would sell my Lantern and pick up a Bloodthirster. So for the most part, that is the complete build. Now if you don't want a Wit's End because that's not what you need, then I would suggest maybe going for a Zephyr, I believe is the item. It's pretty good. It's going to give you move speed, it's going to give you attack speed, it's going to give you attack damage, and plenty of other things. They're going to be able to hit the vein. We're getting to a little bit of a team fight here, and I think I'm going to be able to pick up the kill on her real quick. So at this point, we just ace them, and we're going to be able to push here for the win, and that's going to pretty much end this game out. So like I was saying, that's pretty much the full build. Like I said, it's in the description too, as always, along with the runes and masteries. Tanky Vi works really well too. If you got to go more tanky, go with that Frozen Mallet, maybe go with the Atmas, and just kind of go for those tankier items. Don't really worry about getting more attack speed, but this is kind of how I like to build her. It works really well, and like I said, she's better in the jungle than in top lane, so give her a shot in the jungle. And I think you guys should see good results with her. But that's pretty much going to round out this build video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and other than that, I'll just see all of you in the next build video.